So let us begin with an experience of Montessori. My name is Annie Spade. I am a mother. I have three grown daughters, ages 37, 42, and 43. And my oldest daughter and youngest daughter each have children as well. So I also have 5 granddaughters. And my 5 granddaughters have come to my Montessori school. They're now ages 4 to 13. And all of them have graduated except for the youngest now. And that's been a great gift to me to be able to see them both as a teacher and as a grandmother. And my daughters also attended Montessori school from age 3 to 12. And I've been involved in Montessori for 40 years. So I wanted to give you that background and look forward to getting to know you more, hopefully, the next time that we meet. First thing that I feel is so important to share is Maria Montessori's basic understanding of the child. And, you know, Maria Montessori worked with children in all circumstances. The first children that she worked with were in a working class neighborhood in Rome. The parents did not have childcare for their young ones, and Maria was hired to, she was trained as a medical doctor. So she was hired really to take care of them, to make sure that they were safe and healthy. But because she had studied some work that some French doctors had done with children that had developmental challenges, she knew that hands-on materials could be very helpful to children. And so she very tentatively, to begin with, provided things to the children in an experimental way. And the child revealed so many things to her. And the most important thing that the child revealed is that the child is seeking to be able to act in the world from their own volition, their own center, their own idea of what they need to be doing. In fact, Maria Montessori did not agree that the adult should be called the teacher. She said the child has an inner teacher, which she was a devout Christian. So she said the inner teacher is the Holy Spirit guiding that child to be the unique individual that they are. And of course, that happens in community. So, and in an environment. And so I want to begin with the logo for the Montessori Home Project that you may have seen. And I talked about this on the earlier meeting. Let's see here. Make sure we're sharing the screen. Okay. So this relates to Maria Montessori called it the center and the periphery. So the center would be this gold circle you see in the middle that includes the child's own private feelings, thoughts, interests, dreams. I mean, all of us have this more or less secret interior. The only reason we can know someone's secret interior is if they express it in some way. And so on the outside, and Maria Montessori recognized, represented by the green circle, that we are in an environment. We're all born into a particular culture and place. And so this is the periphery around that surrounds the individual. What then happens is that we're going to be the inner self is going to be impacted by the external environment. And in fact, Maria Montessori said the young child even absorbs it, like it becomes a part of who they are. They don't have as many protections as we adults may have built up over the years. And the child is born with that as a great power, actually, because when we think that a child can be born in Uganda or be born in the US or be born in China or any other place that we can think of in the world, under any circumstances, the child will adapt to the food and the manner of dress and to everything that is in their environment will become home to them. But what Montessori also came to recognize is that all around this inner circle, you could say on the edges of it, that there could be legitimate points of contact. And a point of contact would be when a person, a child in this case, had a wish to engage with something and was able to reach out into the environment and do have some sort of engagement with it. I mean, it could be as simple as a child walking outside and they see a bug and want to just observe the bug quietly. Well, if no one's disturbing the child is going to be absolutely absorbed in that. So in that experience. And so this is going to create a situation where a condition where the inner and the outer circle are working in harmony. And there's so much peace and joy in that. The child, in fact, will be talking about that, but the child is able to fall in love with life. And this brings so much joy and gratitude. So I'd like to share another foundational aspect, which is actually a way of seeing the same thing, but just viewing it from a different and really more dynamic way. So as I say, Maria Montessori was a devout Christian, and she saw that everything in the Christian tradition supported what she came to find, that that each person comes into the world with a unique gift and unique personality and way of experiencing the world, and that is meant to be honored because that is God's gift to the world. And so Maria recognized, as her children became very calm and focused, that the child is indeed a deeply spiritual being, and that The child had spiritual capacities, spiritual qualities that needed further study. But Maria herself was not able to do that study. It was a couple of her disciples that began 2 years after she died in 1954 to work to understand better the young child's spirituality. Maria herself, just to clarify, Maria Montessori was born in 1870, and she opened her first children's house in Rome in 1907 in that working class neighborhood. It was actually a house, an apartment building, and they gave her a room for the children. And then she worked throughout her life until she died in 1952. And interestingly, she visited all of the 6 inhabited continents except for Africa. And at the age of 81, she was planning another trip, this time to Africa for training. And she ended up dying in Amsterdam, where she is buried, and her last office and home is there in Amsterdam. I was able to visit there once. And but it's just so interesting to me that she was planning her first trip to Africa, even at the age of 81, at the time of her death. And of course, now Montessori has come to Africa, and today we're bringing it still further to the African continent. So these disciples of Maria's developed, or they followed the child, honestly, and the child showed to them that they felt the love of God profoundly, and that was reflected in everything around them. Just as I've mentioned, that the child is so ready to be in love with life. And so these 2 women, Sophia Cavalletti and John Agobi, eventually, through just experimentation with various scriptures, came to recognize that the parable of the Good Shepherd, chapter 10 of John, is the one that is most expressive of the child's experience of life and experience of God and God's love. So it's just so beautiful to me that the Good Shepherd material that we do use with the children. I'm sorry, this has been on the screen so long. Hopefully you've seen it earlier a little bit, but we see the sheep gathered in the sheepfold in the center, with a good shepherd figure outside, and some kind of gate or opening. And we can see how this relates to the child's internal life, and then the world that surrounds, and that the child needs an opportunity to encounter the external environment in a very meaningful way, and in a way that is resonant for them. So let me give you another view. I'm not sure you can see that. I'm going to do this a different way, because I think that did not work before. So and it might not have worked just then. So I'm going to stop and check this recording.